Hello, welcome to Shauna Stitches. I'm Shauna and it is October 26th. Clue 4 is out. I have Clue 4 downloaded onto my Knit Companion iPad app and I am ready to go. Again, staying spoiler free as much as possible, or at least until I get tired of waiting. And I'm excited to see where this clue is taking us. I'm a little bit sad that this is the last one and it's going to be over until next year or maybe forever. We don't know. So, what is the fate of the MKAL? Only time will tell, I think. I am super bummed out and I have a frog in my throat. I pulled up the Stephen West video so I could learn about the stitch that we're going to be using in Clue 4. And I've done it before, I think, although I still haven't gotten to the part where he talks about how to do the stitch. And I'm super bummed because he showed a spoiler of the entire shawl. So I was trying to go spoiler free. And let's see, I'm just about 5 minutes into the video. And now I know what the entire shawl looks like. And like, I get he said spoiler, but I also don't know why that goes before the tutorial on how to do the stitch. I don't know. I'm super annoyed. Still gonna knit it. I don't hate it. I just wasn't ready to see it yet. Oh my goodness. 491 picked up stitches. Actually, he said to recount. I counted 492, but I think I probably miscounted. By the time you're counting to 500, you're bound to screw up somewhere. But I think I followed what I was supposed to do, so I'm pretty confident it's right. I really don't want to have to rip this out, but we'll see what happens. It's a lot of stitches to pick up. All right, here I am several hours later, and I have finished the first stripe. Doesn't look very exciting, it's just stockinette. And I am up to 499 stitches, and I'm about to do the fun texture row. Fun, I say fun. I don't know how fun it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something different than plain stockinette. So I will be moving on to color B. I have almost used up the first skein of color A. Remember, I have a whole other 50 grams of this. So for sure, I'm gonna be doing the large size. I may even make it even larger, but I don't know if I wanna do that many super long rows. So stay tuned to see how many, but I will at least be doing the 2 color repeats, so 8 rows, not 8 rows, but 8 stripes. That's my plan right now. Ollie and Fiona are watching with bated breath, just cannot wait to see what happens next, I'm sure. I am convinced after doing the dip stitch that Stephen West likes to make us suffer. There is what row 7 looks like. It takes the 499 stitches to 990. So there's a lot on the needle. And I've looked ahead at what row 8 is, and you are purling 2 through the back loop together all the way across. So again, I think he's torturing us. I might be rethinking doing the big border, but we shall see. I'm going to tackle row 8 and see how I feel. A quick little check-in. It is still Thursday, and I have done 12 rows, and I'm just getting ready to start row 13, which is another one of these dip stitch rows. And I said that I had done dip stitch before, and that's true. I have. I've done a cowl. Is it called a slumber cowl by WestKnits? And he has a stitch that is a dip stitch, but it's different than this. And also I've done it in the summer sorrel by Woolen Pine, I believe. And it is a dip stitch. It's just a different kind. So it's pretty effective. I wasn't sure if I was making them too loose or too tight. If anything, I think they're a bit too loose, but this yarn should plump and I don't know, kind of contract a bit, I think, when I wash it. So I think it'll be fine. I have only this much left of color B, but of course one more skein still. So that's going well. I definitely don't think I will get the 4 rows done. Definitely won't get the 4 rows done, but hopefully I can get row 13 and maybe a few more done before the end of the night. And how are you liking this clue? Are you enjoying the border? What do you think? Mine doesn't quite look right yet. I think once I have the next color stripe in, you're really gonna see what it will end up looking like. And I have 505 stitches on the needle right now. After row 13, there'll be 1001. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot of stitches. So yeah, I think I'm still planning on doing 8 rows. If I could figure it out, I'm pretty sure I'd have enough yarn for 12. I'm also thinking about, do I want to do the little tassel-y bits on the end? I kind of like how it looks. Again, I can't really show it on this shawl because just the way that it is, but the tassels, if you haven't seen, go in between these little sections, and I like that. Also the fact that they're short. But I have added fringe to something before and it was a real pain in the butt and I did not enjoy that process, and I haven't watched through the video to know if he has a better way, an easier way, or if it's something that I want to do. So stay tuned for that and just keep going. It's the end of the day on Thursday and I'm ready to call it a night. There is the progress that I have. I am not one to stop mid-row, but I am stopping mid-row. I have that much more to go. So I am probably 3/4 of the way or so. You can see that's where clue 3 started, right there. So I'm very close to that, but these rows take so long that I'm not gonna stay up because that's probably, I bet you that's still like another at least half hour of knitting, which is certainly does not look like it should be, but it is. And this is how much I have of my first ball of color C. Again, I have 2 of these, so I think I will get into the second ball of this color. This looks like less than I had of the other one. All right, well, I will update you with my progress tomorrow. I normally would be going to work, but I took some extra days off, so I don't have to work at all this weekend, which is awesome. I feel like I didn't get 2 rows done today. No, I'm on the 3rd row. I did get 2 rows done, so if I could do 2 a day, I might have this done by the time I go back to work on Wednesday, the 1st. I go back to work, so I will let you know that the rows are only going to keep getting longer, and clearly I'm delirious, so I need to go to bed. Oh my goodness, it is Saturday, October the 28th. You'll notice I do not have a clip for Friday, and it's about 7:30 at night, and I am exactly where I left off on my shawl. I haven't knit a stitch. I'm on vacation, if you didn't know, and I was planning on doing nothing but knitting, staying at home, a nice staycation. But Friday night at 1:30 in the morning, I got a phone call from work, and they had an emergency that I had to go to, and so I worked 20 hours on Friday. I got home last night around 10:30 or 11:30 o'clock at night. And then I worked today, another 10 hours, and I might get tomorrow off, and I will be back at work on Monday. And this is the worst vacation ever. I don't even know. It's definitely not going how I pictured it going. And with any luck, I've asked for Wednesday and Thursday, the 1st and 2nd off. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't even know if it can happen. Certainly, I did not get the days off that I was already supposed to get. So my goal tonight is to finish this row. I think it's row 13. It's very long, intricate row. And I've seen other people are finishing already. I should be finished, maybe not with the big border section, but I should certainly be finished with the small border. I'm all tangled up. Anyway, I'm exhausted and freezing cold. I have the hot tea that you saw that is steeping and it feels nice on my freezing hands. So here's to hoping I can finish this row tonight and actually do some knitting tomorrow. Who knows? I made it to 9 o'clock and I am so exhausted. I can't keep my eyes open. But not much progress. I did manage to finish rows 13 and 14. So I'm back to 500 and some odd stitches. It's huge. And I have a couple rows of knitting and purling before I do the next, I don't know, do we call it the increase row? The dip stitch row, that's what it is. Dip 5. I'm going to bed, I'm getting some sleep, I'm not setting an alarm, and I'm really hoping not to get any work phone calls. Good morning, October 29th. I am half asleep still, but the key thing is that I actually did get sleep. I can't even talk yet. So far, no call from work, and I think I have the day off, so I'm going to do a lot of knitting today, I hope, if I can stay awake and keep my eyes open. That's the plan. Here I am, several hours later. I've just been knitting and watching podcasts, hence the headphones. And I have finished the third stripe, getting ready to start the final color. I did have to break into my second skein of color C, which is peony. So I didn't use very much of this. I haven't weighed it yet. I definitely have enough for the large border. In the back of my mind, I'm contemplating doing 12 of the stripes. That's a lot though. Just glancing at my pattern here, the next dip stitch row will have us at 1,012 stitches by the time it's done. It's a lot of stitches. It's only going to keep getting bigger. So I don't know if I have the patience to keep going, but right now we're just trying to finish the actual pattern as written, the main 4 stripe border. I don't think I'm making any sense. I'm really just trying to recoup. I have to go back to work again tomorrow. So far, no calls. I mean, I have gotten a text about work, but nothing that's calling me in. And I'm just trying to do nothing today, honestly, but knit. I do love knitting, if you didn't know. Operation Stay in My Pajamas All Day and Knit has been a success, although I'm not as far as I had hoped to be. I'm on row 26, which would be the last row before starting the I-cord bind off if I was doing the small border, but I have conflicting feelings. I don't feel like that's a very large border, and the shawl itself isn't huge. So far the border added maybe 3 inches, maybe to each side, 2.5, 3 inches. And I do like a big shawl, and it wasn't that big anyway. So as much as I'm really tired of doing this dip stitch, I think I am gonna go for the large border because I think I'd be really disappointed stopping now, in the size, but also in the fact that I've only used half my yarn, and that just feels like a waste. Why would you only want to use half the yarn that you got for a specific project? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to keep going as much as I just want to be done. I think in the long run, I'll be much happier continuing on. So that's my plan. I'm headed to bed and going back to work tomorrow, which I do not want to do. I am not in the headspace to be thinking work. I need the break that I was designed to have, and I got the opposite. So hopefully a good night's sleep. I will feel okay tomorrow. I'm guessing probably no knitting, but maybe. There's a slim chance I will have time when I get home. Good morning, October 31st. 30th. It's only the 30th. My brain doesn't know. I'm thinking Halloween. I had a few minutes before work this morning, so Technically, I have finished this row and I could start the I-cord bind off. But as we know, I'm a glutton for punishment and I'm going to keep going. So onward and upward, I guess, maybe. Anyway, I'm feeling delirious today and heading out of town for some work. No idea how long it's going to take. I'm hoping not too long. And I'm also hoping that I have tomorrow off, but I have no clue. So I'm going to get as much done as I can. Good morning and happy Halloween. I have finished the 5th stripe of the dip stitch. And obviously I'm continuing on to the big border. So I managed to use 14 grams of yarn for this stripe with, I think I still have 42 left of this color, quite a lot of yarn left. And I believe this would be the last stripe. I'm still contemplating maybe doing even one more set of these, but you know, I have to make it through this set first. And then I would be going rogue and trying to make up my own numbers. So I don't even know if that's in my wheelhouse, if I can do that, but for right now, that is my plan. And what else? I thought there was something else I wanted to say. I don't remember. I'm clearly dressed as myself, not dressing up for Halloween, and I have to go do some work stuff soon. So I'm going to get as much done as I can, and then if everything goes according to plan, I should be off work on the 1st and 2nd, and actually through the weekend. So my goal is to get this shawl done before I have to go back to work. And I'll throw the caveat in there, unless I get called in for crazy things again. I really hope not. I'm very curious if you're watching and either done or still working on your shawl. How much of the border did you decide to do, or did you decide to do something different? I have seen some pretty creative changes to the border. Someone used the painting bricks pattern, and I thought that looked really good with the rest of the shawl. I'm just not that creative. Well, hello. It is now November 1st. I definitely thought that I was going to have my shawl done by now, and I'm nowhere close. I was set to make a big dent in it last night, and I was all cozied up for Halloween at the house, not handing out candy, being a Scrooge. And I got a phone call at 8 o'clock from work saying they needed me to come in. So I worked after being up all day, I worked from 8 o'clock p.m. until 4 o'clock in the morning. I got home around 4:30. I went to bed, got a little bit of sleep, not enough, about 6 hours of sleep. And now, hopefully, I keep saying this, but hopefully I should be off until Monday. I don't even know what day that is. Is that the 6th? I think so. So I'm going to, I can't even grab my shawl here. I'm going to pick up where I left off. I'm on the 7th stripe. Yep, that'd be right. 7th of the dip stitches, because to complete the large border, I would have this color and then the darkest color to go. And like I said, I'm still think I'm going to do the large border. I hope that during these days off, my mentality right now, I plan on doing nothing productive other than knitting, although I'm sure that isn't actually going to happen that way. So here's to hoping I make a good dent on my shawl today. It's November 2nd. I know I look like I'm wearing the same thing, but you know, it's early morning and it's pajamas. So my husband just walked in, so you can hear the door, and I'm knitting away on this shawl. I am at the point right now where I am super annoyed. I just want this to be done. You can see I'm adding the last row of the 2nd repeat. This row, I don't care how skilled you are, how many times you've did it, it takes like 2 hours. And every time I knit it, it kind of makes me want to die a little bit. That being said, glutton for punishment, I'm still planning on doing a 3rd full repeat, I think. I could change my mind at any moment, but right now. I also have switched to using 2 needles. You can see I have a wooden Likey, whatever the hell needle, and a Chiagu, which is my preference. But it's so big that one 40-inch cable wasn't really enough. And I will not be able to show you the full length of it or size, but it's getting quite large. And I still have a lot of yarn left. Let me show you where we're at with yarn. So these are not full by any means, but they are not empty either. So it's a little hard to tell because it's squished, but lots of yarn, plenty for another stripe. So that's why I think I am going to do, but oh man, it's getting to me. I will say for this stitch, I'm finding that the non-superwash Holst yarn is quite difficult, and I think that's because, you know, it wants to stick to itself, and if it was superwash yarn, it would be more inclined to glide over itself. So I have to let go and then pull the stitch through to make sure it's long enough, and then retension my yarn and kind of tighten up the stitch, but not too much. Yeah, it's a thing. I am just very ready to be done with this part of the shawl for sure. The other thing, and I guess this will not go up before I find out if it works, I'm really contemplating doing all 4 colors on my I-cord bind off, and I'd like to do it stripey. So I don't know how it will work or if it will work to carry the yarns over that many stitches. Because if I did 1 stitch and repeated every 1 stitch, then you'd be carrying it over 4. But if I did 2 stitches, which is what Stephen has done on, I don't know if it's a particular shawl pattern or if it was just a tutorial that he had on YouTube. He uses 2 colors for a bind off and he does 2 stitches. So then you'd be carrying over 8 stitches. I don't know. I don't know how that will look. I don't know how that will work. I should probably make a swatch to test it out, but I probably won't. So I think I'm gonna try that. I haven't seen anyone do it, which is interesting. But you know, everything on this whole shawl is stripey and it's the whole 4 colors. So I think in my head, like, I like the idea. I also don't know about tassels either. Those are my MKAL thoughts. I'm really ready for this to be done, which tells me I should probably just bind it off, but I don't know. I don't feel good about having nearly, I don't know, probably 250, no, 200 grams, no, 150, that's what I meant to say. Like 150 grams of yarn left. I don't know, it just doesn't set well with me. I think if I thought I could use this yarn for something else, maybe I wouldn't be as bothered. And I have made hats with the leftovers that I had from Holst yarn. And I think I used my Knit Picks palette also for hats, although I can't remember for sure. And it works, but I don't really like mixing non-superwash and superwash because obviously I would care for them differently, which isn't a big deal. I could just wash it, hand wash it, no big deal. But I don't know, for some reason it seems weird. Those are my morning ramblings. Did I say it's November 2nd? Yes, I did. Still hoping to have this done by this weekend. It is Thursday, so I have the rest of today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days. Hopefully I can do that. My plan today, although it has nothing to do with the MKAL, I'm gonna go to a local quilt shop that I kind of just found out was here, and they have these quilt of the month blocks. I was gonna say knit along, quilt along, where I think for a certain fee, you get, I believe you get the materials and then the pattern and maybe support to do the block each month. but it's very hard. If there's a name to it, I don't know what it is. It's kind of hard to describe, but there's a house essentially, and on the side of each house is a different quilt block. And I don't particularly love the pattern, but I think it would be smart because I would learn a lot. So I don't know. We shall see. Okay, it's a little while later. What time is it? It is 10:30, and I have finished the actual written pattern. So I've done all 50 rows of the border as written, and I just weighed my color A yarn. I have 33 grams left. If I don't include the label, I have about 32 grams left. And that's more than enough to finish this stripe and do another stripe and even bind off, I think, maybe not the whole bind off, but I have plans for that anyway, if it works out. So what was I gonna say? I had something I wanted to tell you. No, I don't remember. Oh, anyway, I know. I have figured out the math going forward, and I think it's going to work. So if my next 4 stripes of color work out, doing the dip stitches and whatnot, and my numbers are right, I will post those in my pattern page. If you don't see them posted, it's because they didn't work out, and I will probably mention that to you on here because I'm sure I'll be frustrated. Hello, it's November 4th. We have fast forwarded through a few days where I have been doing plenty of knitting, but I really didn't have anything new to say or new to tell you, and each day I'm just like, am I done with this thing yet? I just want to be done. And I know myself, if I set it aside, it's not getting done. But excitingly, I have finished all 12 rows. And now all I have to do with my color A, which is candy floss, you'd think I'd remember that by now. I have to do one more of the dip rows, my 2-hour dip rows, followed by a purl 2 together row, and then the I-cord bind off. It is almost 4 p.m. and it is a Saturday, so I'd love to get done with this today, but I just don't think that's realistic. I know for sure, like, I swear, unless I get called to work, which I haven't been getting called to work, which is wonderful, I should definitely get this done tomorrow, and I will be able to show you the entire shawl off the needles, which is going to be great. I cannot even believe just how bunched this is on this needle. You see all the bunching. This is, and all the ends. This is a 40-inch needle, and do you see how much is bunched up on each side? I just kind of like spread it out in the middle so you could get a better look at it. I really can't wait to see how huge this is. I've been keeping track of how much yarn I've been using per stripe, and I did a little math either before definitely before this stripe I just finished, but I can't remember if it included the C color or not. And I think I was like close to 160 grams just for clue 4. So I have been knitting my little heart out. Again, I cannot wait to be done, and I will show you all soon. I'm just here with a very exciting update. I have completed the last of the longest rows in the world, and I forget how many stitches I have. Oh, I should look that up. I can tell you exactly how many stitches I have on the needles right now. 1,116 stitches on one 40-inch cable. It is way too small for this right now, and I'm going to do the second to last, well, I guess it's the last official row, and then hopefully start the I-cord bind off. But it is 7:30, we're watching a show, and I'm gonna get as much done tonight as I can. Okay, super quick update because I am going to bed, but I bound off about 6 inches worth. I have so much more to go, but it's a start, and it is the start to the finish. I'm so happy about that. hours ahead of me, I'm sure, but I will definitely get this done tomorrow, even if I don't get all the ends woven in. Hello, hello. It is November the 5th, and I am so excited to tell you that exactly to the day, 1 month after Clue 1 was published, I have now finished Clue 4 and the entire Geogradient shawl. So here is my version of Clue 4. You'll notice probably that it looks a lot bigger than a lot of them do. And that's because I'm absolutely insane and did 4 full repeats. The regular version of the pattern calls for 1 repeat. Did I say 4 full repeats? 3 full repeats. The regular version calls for just 1. The extended version calls for 2. And then I added a 3rd because I had a lot of yarn left. So I'm going to scoot as far back as I can here and show you as much of the shawl as will fit in the screen. Hopefully you got a good view there. It's hard for me to see what you're seeing, but obviously you're missing a good chunk of the end. So there's the left wing and the right wing, or is it vice versa? Anyway, the wings. So let me give you a little recap on the yarn that I used for this clue. So Stephen recommends that you measure your yarn for each of the rows instead of each of the repeats on this one because they are getting quite long. So for the very first A row, I used 9 grams, B 13, C 15, and D 13. I really don't know why C is using more. It's all wool skarn, super soft, so that's weird. The second set of, or the second repeat, A was 14 grams, B was 13 grams, C was 15 grams, and D was 16 grams. And for the very last repeat that I added by myself, that was A 15 grams, B, it's hard for me to see my thing over there, 14 grams, C 16 grams, and D 15 grams. And then the very last bit that you do kind of a half repeat and the I-cord bind off. The 2 rows of the repeat were 6 grams. Nope, sorry, 9 grams. The I-cord bind off was 6 grams. So all in all, the 3 complete repeats was 183 grams of yarn. That is more yarn than I used in the entire rest of the shawl. So including clues 1, 2, and 3, I used approximately 150 grams, and this was 183. And the main reason that I extended this was because I wanted to use, I say all of my yarn, but a good majority of my yarn. That being said, I still have quite a lot left. I think I could have done 1 more repeat, just maybe not ending on the A color, but there was no way I was going to do that to myself. I have 12 grams of candy floss left. I have 30 grams of allium. There is 19 grams of peony. It's the only one I can seem to remember. And 24 grams of comfrey. And I actually looked up how to say it. It's comfrey. So it's kind of like comfy, but free. Comfrey. Don't ask me. It's a flower. I just learned that today. So there it is. Very happy with this. So happy to have it off the needles. And I did have to steam block this just to get it to lay mostly flat. The edge really wanted to curl up like that. And so did, I guess, the cast on edge, or whatever you want to call this. The other I-cord edge wanted to curl as well. This yarn needs a lot of blocking or washing blocking. I'm going to wash it in very hot water and hope it doesn't bleed. I will use some color catchers and some vinegar, but also some Blue Dawn dish soap, because that's how I wash my fleece. Sometimes I use Power Scour, but for this I will use Blue Dawn. and I will let it soak for quite some time to get the spinning oils out. So I think that's about all I have to say for the Clue 4 wrap up, but I am going to do one final wrap up, I guess, wrap up of the wrap up, which will be just a final Geogradient video. I don't think I'm going to have a lot to say there, but I will be able to show it with it blocked and get some, I say modeled photos, but I don't really model, but I'll be able to show it styled on and some maybe outdoor pictures in better lighting. So I look forward to that. I also look forward to knitting something other than this shawl. What do you think? Are you guys done yet? Oh, also, I forgot to mention, if you are interested in the numbers for the final section of the border that I did, the extra rows, those are all the numbers and how to do it. If you have the pattern already, it will make sense. Without the pattern, I don't think it would make sense. So hopefully that's vague enough to not be infringing on copyright at all. But it's all on my Ravelry page. That is linked down below. So if you are looking for those numbers, how much yarn I used, all that's there. And it's there for each section, each color. So hopefully that's helpful. I did want to say also, I forgot, at the end, the final dip stitch row, the light pink candy floss dip stitch row, was 1,116 stitches, and the I-cord bind off was 571 stitches or so, I think. Anyway, just a fun little fact there. So thank you for joining me during this process. I do look forward to wrapping it up in the next video.